The interest rate was cut urgently 2 weeks ago. Cut interest rates by 4 yards 1 percentage point and lower the base interest rate to 0% to 0.25%. Everything moves faster than expected. The hope is to prevent the chaotic recurrence of the financial crisis 10 years ago. Everyone wanted to say that number 3 had been dropped once. I should just wait until the policy meeting of the Federal Reserve this Wednesday. But wait for the latest emergency action on Wednesday of the Federal Reserve. The U.S. economy could be in serious trouble or even worried. It may be too late to wait 3 more days to support the economy. The Fed will no longer hold policy meetings this week after a major interest rate cut. U.S. stocks fell to bear market in 11 years last week. Shows growing investor fears that global economy could fall into severe recession. Because people are segregated at home, daily activities in the global economy are stagnant. Fed Chairman Powell said at a press conference, measures to combat the epidemic will seriously affect economic activity in the short term. It also limits the activities of foreign economies. Although he declined to predict whether the U.S. will experience a recession in the coming seasons. But it is expected that the next season will be hurt. Just how deep this trough is, it all depends on the spread of the epidemic. The world is facing a pandemic. We have to take a special response. Quote, according to market analyst Nadeem Aslam, Lianjin will cut interest rates to 0 and start quantitative easing. It is the largest nuclear rocket launcher. Quote, in addition to the interest rate cuts, the Fed promised to buy large-scale bonds to reach $700 billion. And with Canada, Japan, the European Union, Switzerland, UK, 5 other central banks reach agreement. Work together to keep financial markets running while cutting interest rates. The last time the Fed's interest rate fell to such a low level was the 2011 European debt crisis, making global dollar borrowing cheap. After all, the US dollar was the main safe haven currency during the financial crisis. This coordination and cooperation will reduce the short-term borrowing costs of global banks. It could also shake the global economy from a similar general tightening a decade ago. Why not just take negative interest rates? Will negative interest rates be possible? After all, Trump had been preaching loudly. Powell still resists the idea. Means to keep interest rates stable near 0. Until there is confidence that the U.S. economy can shake off the economic quagmire caused by the new crown virus. Quote, we don't consider negative interest rate policies a proper policy response for the United States, Powell said. The Fed rushed down 4 yards. Trump is very satisfied with the new crown virus detection. Greatly praised the Federal Reserve for cutting interest rates on Sunday. Trump said the interest rate cut makes me very happy. Powell in turn urged Trump and Congress to propose a stimulus package. Last Friday, 13th, Trump officially declared a state of emergency in the United States. It also said it would release $50 billion in emergency funding to fight the epidemic. And the House of Representatives also passed a bill that will provide free testing for new crown virus. Paid sick leave is also provided for affected workers. The announcement of the spill did indeed inspire U.S. stocks. Dow Jones rose to madness again. The sharp rise of 1985 points once again broke the record of the largest rise in history. Policymakers clearly want to sustain Friday's gains. Keep the momentum of the market, said analyst Ward McCarthy. But she is not as simple as anyone thinks. After the Federal Reserve announced a rate cut to 0, the reenactment is the third script. U.S. stock futures face sharp sell-off because everyone is worried. The Fed will make fierce moves. Does it mean that the economy is far worse than previously thought? Is the United States heading for recession? The epidemic is clearly on the rise. Stock market rampant, government moves to cut interest rates. But what are the fundamentals of the U.S. economy? Unemployment remains at historically low levels. Consumer confidence remains at record high. But the Fed stated that the spread of the new crown virus has clearly affected the global financial situation. Treasury Minister Mnuchin said, "Don't think America is in recession. We're in the second half of the ninth inning and we will use all the tools to make sure Americans get through. These measures so far will be helpful, Moody's analyst Mark Zandi said. But that's when tsunami authorities need to invest 3 to 4 times bigger to respond. How severe the recession will be depends on several factors, including availability of inspections, central bank response to maintaining liquidity, and fiscal policies to stimulate demand. Economists think Congress may want to propose a larger basket of measures, could be more than $400 billion.